The world without a steady helm. Can U.S. allies navigate the storm alone? The global stage is witnessing a seismic shift. With U.S. leadership increasingly unpredictable, its allies are facing a daunting question. Can they chart their own course in an increasingly turbulent world? This isn't just about political posturing. It's about the very foundations of international stability. Imagine a world where the rules-based order, painstakingly built over decades, begins to crumble. That's the fear gripping many nations, from the bustling capitals of Europe to the vibrant shores of the Indo-Pacific. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite this anxiety, there's a noticeable hesitation among these allies to fully embrace the changes needed to adapt. It's like they're caught in a paradox, yearning for stability, yet reluctant to invest in the very measures that could ensure it. A glimmer of hope, forging new alliances. However, a subtle yet significant shift is underway. In recent months, U.S. allies in Europe and the Indo-Pacific have begun to forge closer ties, recognizing their shared vulnerabilities and interests. From the bustling trade corridors to the complex realm of defense and the looming shadow of China's rise, these nations are finding common ground. Think of it as a new kind of alliance, one not solely reliant on the U.S. for direction. Countries like the UK, France, Germany, Australia, Japan, and South Korea, all democratic middle powers committed to open trade and investment, are realizing they have more in common than they thought. This newfound camaraderie was on full display during a recent meeting on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. Foreign ministers from these nations, along with Poland, acknowledged the growing interconnectedness of security in their regions. They pledged closer cooperation on issues ranging from maritime security and cybersecurity to economic resilience and climate change, all without the U.S. at the table, even though they were meeting on American soil. This symbolic gesture speaks volumes about the evolving dynamics of global power, economic fortresses, and technological arms races. Economically, these nations are bracing themselves against the dual threats of China's economic dominance and rising protectionism from the U.S. itself. They're seeking to shield themselves from Beijing's weaponization of its manufacturing prowess and technological advancements, while also navigating the choppy waters of U.S. trade policies that predate Trump's return to the White House. And this is the part most people miss. The real challenge lies in how these allies can effectively organize themselves without the traditional leadership of the U.S. Can they truly become a cohesive force capable of defending the free flow of goods, services, and investments in a world increasingly marked by barriers and tariffs? CPTPP, a beacon of hope? One potential solution lies in the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, CPTPP. A regional trade agreement once championed by Washington but abandoned under Trump. Countries like Australia, Japan, New Zealand, and the UK are already members, while South Korea is considering joining, and the EU is exploring deeper trade ties with the bloc. Could this be the foundation for a new economic alliance, one that bypasses the uncertainties of U.S. policy? The tech race, a collective effort. Technology is another critical battleground. As the U.S. and China engage in a high-stakes race for dominance in artificial intelligence, semiconductors, and electric vehicle batteries, none of Washington's allies can compete individually. But by pooling their knowledge and resources, they can strive to remain relevant in this rapidly evolving landscape. The question remains, can they prevent themselves from becoming collateral damage in a world of bifurcating technological systems and standards? Defense, beyond the American umbrella. While the U.S. remains an indispensable security partner, its allies are increasingly looking to strengthen their own defense ties. Initiatives like the Global Combat Air Program, where Italy, Japan, and the UK are jointly developing a next-generation fighter jet, signal a shift towards greater self-reliance. This could be the beginning of a more interconnected defense network among European and Indo-Pacific allies, reducing their dependence on U.S. leadership and procurement. Leading without a leader, a delicate balance. This shift isn't about severing ties with Washington. It's about adapting to the realities of a changing U.S. political landscape and ensuring that allies can contribute more meaningfully to global stability. However, coordinating between middle powers without the gravitational pull of U.S. leadership won't be easy. Here's the controversial part. Existing tensions within the EU, like the fraught Franco-German relationship and the UK's post-Brexit position, complicate matters. Similarly, historical rivalries in the Indo-Pacific, such as those between Japan and South Korea, can hinder cooperation. Overcoming these challenges will require visionary leadership, creative solutions,